Tina Cooks is made possible through the generous support of E.T. Cody & Sons Auto Parts, Leominster, Papa John's Pizza, Leominster and Fitchburg, Boucher Construction, Central Mass Sand and Gravel. Here's the deal on veal. All right, I got a request for a veal parmesan. Now, veal parmesan is basically it's a simple dish. So I'm going to show you a few things with veal. I'm going to show you a veal saltimbocca, a veal parmesan, and a veal cacciatore. We're going to start out by checking out the veal to see how good it is here. Use my trusty little cleaver, and I'm just going to whack it down just a little bit, because this is thick. I use a cleaver. If you have a meat mallet, you could use a meat mallet. Okay, I'm just going to pound these down. And it does get loud, huh? Oops, splattering veal on me. All right. Okay, so where I'm making 3 veal dishes, I'm gonna kind of like hand select what I want to go into what. I'm gonna cut off these ends because you can see it's very obvious they were not trimming down. So they're gonna be for the cacciatore. I'm gonna take out this silver skin. I don't want it. This will be very rubbery, very elastic. It'll taste horrible, okay? And I'm gonna set this, I need my cutting board back, Carl. Because I don't want to set the veal on the counter. I'm going to rinse that off because I don't want to get the counter all veal juice. It's like a beef. I'm going to trim this off, and we're going to cut off this end. Okay, that's number 2. This one's pretty thick. I think I'll save that one for the cacciatore. Okay. Cut off this end, and I'm just going to cut off this end. There we go. And I'm going to strip this for the cacciatore, which I'm going to get all our veal all ready and prepped for the dishes. Okay, I'm going to slide this over here so that I can put the cacciatore veal on the end. You want bite-sized pieces. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually flour the veal for the cutlets. Now, I've gotten a lot of phone calls on this about a breading station. How do you bread this? This is a basic breading station. You have flour. I don't necessarily season the flour because I do put a lot of seasonings in my breadcrumbs. I'm just going to get a couple of eggs, some milk. This is breadcrumbs with Romano cheese, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of granulated garlic and parsley, and just mix it up. Oh, we don't want the plastic. That ain't gonna make it taste good. Okay, so now we're gonna just beat this up. Okay, so this is your breading station. Flour, egg wash, breadcrumbs. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the veal and we're going to press it down in here, okay? Put it in your eggs. press that down. Put it in your eggs. Now I'm going to make, with the veal parmesan, I'm going to make a veal saltimbocca. Now veal saltimbocca can be done a couple of different ways. Sometimes you'll go out and eat and it'll be pan fried, okay, which is very nice. I like my veal saltimbocca fried in oil. But that's just how I like it. Everybody does it different. You can do them in a saute pan with capers. Okay, I'm pushing that meat down because I want the breading in it. Because I'm only going to dredge it through this once. I'm not going to double bread this. Because you really don't want a lot of breadcrumbs on it. I don't like a veal that is so breadcrumb that it's, you know, really, I like to taste my veal. Okay. We have one more cutlet, and the rest I'm going to put in the fridge until we're ready to do the cacciatore. Okay, I'm going to put this on here for now. I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator. I'm going to clean up our breading station, and then I'm going to do some prep for the cacciatore. Okay, I'm doing some prep for the peppers, onions, and mushrooms that are going to go into the cacciatore. Cacciatore kind of reminds me of a stew. In my younger days, when I used to make cacciatore, I used to roast my chicken, and then I'd make a sauce with peppers and onions and mushrooms. And then I would take the chicken and I would put the whole chicken in the sauce and let it simmer up and finish cooking in there. After, of course, it was roasted. Then I went into the restaurants and we had a big thing with sautés. Everybody wanted everything sautéed. So that's where I started doing this dish. And when I used to work at Bobby Chick's, this is where we used to use this cacciatore style sauté. So I got some peppers and I'm going to do some onions. And I like to leave everything bite-sized because the veal's going to be bite-sized. Okay, now I have white mushrooms, okay, and I have a couple of creminis. They're just like small portobellos. They're like little baby portobello mushrooms. Okay, and I'm gonna put these into bite-sized pieces also. I'm not gonna slice them. I'm gonna quarter this one. This one I'm gonna cut into sixes. There we go. And I'm gonna do the white mushrooms the same way. I better cut it this way. I don't want to lose any fingers on the show. Okay. There we go. And we're going to put this in here. Now, amongst all this stuff, I have some garlic, which I'm going to give a chop to, like so. Okay. That's basically the prep for the cacciatore. I'm going to move everything over to the other side, and we're going to start the cacciatore. Okay. We're going to start with our peppers, onions, and mushrooms. Now, normally when you do a saute, everything is inside the pan. I like to do my peppers, onions, and mushrooms separate because I'm going to do a little extra. So that's why I've done that. So we're going to put this on about a medium heat. In this pot, I've already made a marinara sauce, which is just plum tomatoes, garlic, oil, basil, salt, pepper, and then a little bit of granulated garlic. Simmer it about 20-25 minutes. I don't like a heavy sauce in chicken cacciatore. I like to lighten it up a little bit. So now that this is getting hot, we're going to add some oil, okay? We're going to add some garlic. like that. Let our garlic go just a tish, not too long. We don't want it brown. We just want to warm it up a little bit. We're going to put in our onions and peppers and mushrooms in here. Okay. Add them all in. And we're going to season. I don't want the water. The water is from washing everything off, making sure it's nice and clean. We're going to season with some salt. Okay. A little more. And we're going to do some parsley. This is dried parsley. You don't have to have it fresh. And some crushed pepper. Fresh pepper. This is just those little grinds that I like to use. Okay. We're going to saute this up. I'm going to add a little wine to this so that it cooks up. This is a Shiraz. It's a red wine. I like red wine with veal. If it was chicken, I'd be using white, okay? All right. I'm going to let this simmer up. We researched cacciatore online, me and my daughter Gina, and we found out that I always thought it was like a hunter stew, okay? Online it describes it as the hunter or to hunt, okay? So, and it's made with tomatoes, onions, mushrooms, and peppers. And that's basically what we found online. So I always have called it a hunter stew, and that's what I feel it is. It's delicious too. All right, we're gonna let these simmer up a little bit. Now what I'm gonna do while I'm letting these simmer is I'm gonna move these on another burner, okay? I'm gonna move this sauce out of here. This is sauce for our Parmesans. And I'm gonna move this over here to this burner on a little bit lower heat. I'm gonna shut this off. Of course, this is hot because the gas makes the metal hot. But that's all right, I'm learning. Leave it let it boil out. We want that juice to boil out. Okay, we're gonna let that simmer up. This is just about done because what I want to do is I don't want them cooked all the way. Like I said, I'm making a little bit extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to saute the veal, add in some peppers and mushrooms and onions, add in some marinara sauce, and we're going to finish it up that way. Now when I make a cacciatore, I like to flour the veal up a little bit. Not a lot. Well, you know, roll it around in the flour and then just make sure you slap off the extra flour, because you don't want a lot of flour on your meat. Okay, what I'm going to do is get my olive oil right here. I'm going to put this pan on a medium heat. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. We're going to add a little tiny, it's about maybe a tablespoon of butter. I love butter. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of onions, not a lot, because we have them in the other part of the cacciatore. Just enough to season the oil, okay? And I'm going to go kind of fine with these because I just want to season the oil. I season a lot. I believe in building flavor. As you cook, you put a little in, you season that, you season everything that you add, then by the time you're finished, you got a really well-seasoned dish. Okay, I'm going to clean this garlic off like this. I'm not going to add a lot of garlic either because we put that in the peppers also. So I'm just going to cut off like maybe half of that and just mince it up real fine, like so. And then we're going to add this to here. Now this I want to be hot when I drop the veal in, because the veal, you don't want to go crazy with it. You just want to saute it up. That's another reason why I par cook the peppers, because the peppers take a good 15-20 minutes to cook up, so you don't want them to make the veal get tough while they're cooking. Okay? melt that down. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our veal, and we're just going to make sure that we don't have too much flour on here, because we don't want a ton. We just want to, so that will thicken the tomatoes up just a tish. Okay, and then just spread them out so that they're all separated. This is also awesome with chicken. I love it with chicken. I love it with pork. I love cacciatore. It's a great dish. I'm going to season that up, and we're going to season. I'm going to use some parsley, a little bit. We're going to use some salt, and we're going to use some cracked pepper. Let those cook. We're going to also use the same wine we used with the mushrooms and peppers and onions. And these are getting to be to the point where we're almost ready for them. And I'm going to cover them a minute. Those peppers are just not breaking. I call it breaking. Okay. That's for my marinara sauce. Okay, I'm just going to turn these a little bit. And not quite brown. I'm going to let these brown in the pan a little bit. You want them to have some color. Okay, we're going to start flipping these over. And then once these are flipped, we're going to, there we go. That's a quick way to flip them. All right. Now what we're going to do is, I don't want to cook them all the way because they're going to simmer with the peppers and onions and mushrooms. We're going to add, oh wait, you know what I forgot to do? The wine. Can't forget the wine. All righty. We'll let that simmer off. There you go. Now, we're going to add the peppers and mushrooms and onions. I'm not going to add all of these. You don't need all of these. Okay. That's pretty good. We'll just add a few more little green peppers. Now, this is the marinara. Okay, and you're going to put this in here. See, now each one of these components has its own flavor. So when you do a saute and you do everything in one pan, a lot of time it tastes the same. I like to do them through experiments. I did this at the restaurants, and you know, I found that, first of all, when you work in a line in a restaurant, you don't have a little pot of peppers and onions. You've got a huge pot of peppers and onions and a huge pot of marinara. So when you work in a line, it's easier to just saute the veal, put everything together, it goes in simmer, send it out. So basically that's what I'm teaching you, how we work a line. Okay? This does have to simmer a while. So we're going to let this go, and we'll be right back to do the Veal Saltimbocca and Veal Parmesan. All right. I got my oil nice and hot. Now you don't want to fry with an olive oil. You can if you want to, but I use a regular vegetable oil. It's got a better burn than a regular olive oil. Okay, we're going to drop these in here like this. I'm going to just do these two first, and then I'll do the third one. I'm going to let them get nice and golden brown, turn them over. I love Veal Saltimbocca and Veal Parmesan. It's probably one of the best meals. Now, I'm frying my veal, breading it and frying it for my version of my Saltimbocca. If you go out to eat, they just use a little bit of oil and garlic. They flour the veal, they drop it in the oil, sear it up with a little bit of prosciutto, and they layer it in the pan. They put the sauteed veal, the prosciutto cheese, you can add capers, and you can add different things. Like, I'm not a caper eater. Briny little seeds, they're gross. But my daughter loves them. She thinks they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is how I like my Saltimbocca. These are a little thick, so they're going to take a few minutes. Gina looked up Saltimbocca online while we're doing the show. We figured we'd try to educate. And what it means is like a jump in the mouth, like it jump in the mouth. That's what it said on, I don't know. We'll see. This will jump in your mouth. Let's see outside. Okie dokie. Nice. Those look like they're ready, Carl. These are ready to go. So we are ready for a plate up. Let's come over to this side and I'll show you how all of this wonderful food goes together. Okay, we're gonna come over with our veal and I'm just gonna grab the prosciutto and the other cheese right out of here, a little bit of Romano, okay? And this is how I like to do this. First, I'm gonna put up the cacciatore, because that's ready to go. If you simmer this too long, it's gonna get tough. The veal is gonna get tough. Okay, so this is our cacciatore. Now, when I work in the restaurants, anybody that sees this, I use Marsala wine. Marsala's got a nice sweet flavor. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful wine. And that's what I use usually in the restaurants, but I had this red wine, so I wanted to try it with that. So we're gonna put this here. And with that, I'm gonna do some of the linguine, but I'm going to use the marinara sauce, not the regular sauce. We want marinara on this one, okay? And a little more, the heck. Now here's the marinara sauce that I made earlier, okay? This is delicious. I love marinara sauce. I love any kind of sauce. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of Romano cheese. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. We'll put this up front. Okay, now we're going to do the Veal Parmesan, which I'm gonna do this piece. It is a little bit of mozzarella, okay, because I like to have mozzarella. And we have some provolone, because I like provolone cheese. You could also buy the sliced mozzarella. I've made it with cheddar, I've made it with different, you can make it with different kinds of cheese. Blue cheese is good too. Okay, and then we're gonna take this nice hot sauce over here, and we're gonna pour this on top. Sometimes what you can do is you can take your veal and put it back in your saute pan and cover it with sauce and let it simmer in the sauce. And that's great like that too. This is going to be the Veal Saltimbocca. I start out with the veal and I put a little bit of mozzarella in the bottom, like so. And you take some really nice imported prosciutto that's sliced thin. If I can open this up, my fingers don't work. Okay, here we go. I just need a bigger workspace. I mean, I've got 5-foot breakfast bar here. You think I had enough room? Okay, I'm gonna take this, drape that right over there, and we're gonna take a piece of provolone, and we're gonna take a scoop of sauce, okay? Now this is a 2-layer job when you serve this, so. All right, and then we're gonna put this on top, like so. A little bit more mozzarella. And we'll put a nice big piece of provolone. You could put some more prosciutto if you want on the top. Maybe I'll just put a tiny bit more on here. That way it'll clean off that sheet. Put some nice sauce on here. Okay, and that's the 2. I actually thought I would be able to fit my pasta on here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but let's try. We'll slide that over, And we're gonna take some pasta and we're gonna put it over here like this. I guarantee you serve this, everybody's gonna love it. Love, love, love. And there we go, and we'll put some extra just regular sauce. Carl, I hope you're hungry. Got a lot of veal and pasta here. I think I did it again, overcooked. Okay, Romano cheese. Okay, now we have a lot of food here, so we need someone to taste this food. Gina, would you like to come and give this food a taste? All right, this is Veal Parmesan, this is Veal Saltimbocca, and this is Veal Cacciatore.
The tough one.
Go ahead, knock yourself out. How'd I know you were gonna pick that? Is it because it's got the nice prosciutto in it? Now don't burn your mouth. And that's the deal on veal. Cook some veal. Have a good night. You want me to hold the veal? Grabbing it like this and coming over to the table like this and saying, here's the deal on veal. We'll start out like that. Okay. Oh! Whoops. That's okay. You all know my floors are impeccably clean.